Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have had such an amazing week so far at GirlCon. We are so happy that you are joining us today for the amazing professional development session on LinkedIn by Shaily Hakimian. Shaily is a Persian Moroccan Indiana grad and a lover of cheesy icebreakers, bubble tea, poker, reality competitions like Survivor and Big Brother, TEDx conferences, magic, flea markets, the Jewish community, and her sequin closet.
She graduated from Indiana University with a degree and certification in elementary education from grades K through 6. And now she uses this training and those mad teaching skills to lead workshops, work with business owners one-on-one, training them on social media, and has coached over 170 B2B consultants on how to use LinkedIn to grow their businesses. She guides businesses on how to stay top of mind with their community referral network using social media. She says she holds them accountable and boosts their confidence in themselves.
We're so grateful to have Shaily here with us today. While you guys are listening, make sure to enter any questions, comments, or reactions in the chat. Also, just a small reminder to post your experience at GirlCon and tag us using the hashtag GirlConChicago 2020. Just GirlCon 2020. Also, make sure to participate in the daily social media challenges. Today's This or That Thursday, so you can take a screenshot and send it to us if you're not public. If not, just tag us and we'll add it to your points. Now, without further ado, here's Shaily.
Hi, thank you all, amazing team at GirlCon. You should be so proud of yourselves on all the amazingness you've put together and have improvised on with all the craziness that's gone on this year. Hello, everybody. I love that everyone's putting in where they're from in the chat. I see so many cool places. I have some people from Chicago. I live in Chicago, Lakeview East. I see Central Virginia, California, Colorado, Maryland. This is Hawaii. We have people from coast to coast and beyond. Florida. Wow, I love seeing where everyone's from. Gurnee, I grew up in Lincolnshire, Long Grove. High school you go to? Any Stevenson grads in the house? Who else grew up in the north suburbs? I know we have some Stevenson grads on the team here for GirlCon. Wow, I see Stony Brook University. Look at that. So many cool places. Texas, Bosnia. Wow, we have coast to coast global. Who knew Chicago and GirlCon could take over the world today? Very cool, very cool. So let's see. There might be some students in here. There might be some past speakers in here, some adults. I'd love to know. So keep on going with the chat. I want you to use this throughout this whole conversation so that you can get your questions answered. Chances are the questions you have, someone else has too. So please chime in there. So with that, I also want to know who in here is already on LinkedIn. I want to know, put it in that chat. I want to see who has some experience or has even tried to play around with this platform. Oh, we have Canada in the house too. So I want to reiterate what we're here for. You might be wanting to get a job. You might want to be making a great impression on a university or snag some super cool internship. You want to stand out and show these companies, these people, these influencers that you're the one they didn't know they needed. These places will 100% look you up online. I'm going to ask you, are you ready for that? You need to learn how you can shine long before you even get the chance to interview. So one of those key tools in helping you shine is learning the ins and outs of how to use LinkedIn as a tool to wow them. So I see a lot of people, wow, so many folks, Alexander, Florence, Lil, Michelle, Emily, Shreya, Samantha, Prachi, all of you are on LinkedIn. Amazing. You are already on this journey and you're already ahead of the game, because when I was in high school, I was not even thinking about LinkedIn. It took me till the middle of college at Indiana to actually get on there. So good for you. So let's ask you, why LinkedIn? Why now? Your LinkedIn is your opening statement for your career and your life and can define all of your lived experiences for someone who's never met you before. So what we're going to do today and what you're going to get out of this experience are some practical updates on what you can do on your LinkedIn today. So as we're walking through, open up your LinkedIn and try to improve it as we go. And I'll walk you through some steps that really take you to the next level. The other part is how to shape your experiences to make deeper connections with others. And the last part is a chance for you to ask your questions and maybe get some feedback on something you're doing on your LinkedIn. So with that, if you've got a piece of paper, a note document, something ready to either write or to play with on your computer, we're going to jump in on some simple things you can do with your LinkedIn. So really simple, practical stuff. If you have your LinkedIn open, this is going to be great. So I want you, and I'm going to screen share in a second. Oops, let's see here. I'm going to press. The first thing we're going to do is I want you to edit your URL. So when you go to your own LinkedIn, mine is linkedin.com/in/Hakimian45. It's my username that you can find me on pretty much any social media platform. But for a lot of people, that's a lot of digits and numbers. And if you want, tell me if that's you, do you have digits and numbers as your LinkedIn URL? So when you go to your home profile page, it should tell you what your URL is. So with that, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm sharing my screen. I'm on my LinkedIn. Awesome. So you can see my LinkedIn here. So if you go to my profile, and I'm going to click my thing, you can welcome to my LinkedIn, everybody. You can see that my username is Hakimian45. I know not everyone's got a straight name. They have something with different numbers and codes. I wonder if does Renee have? No, Renee's got it also. So what you're going to do, simple thing is you're going to go to here, this button right here, edit your profile. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you're going to click contact info, click edit. There's a lot of steps to this. It says profile URL. You click it, and then you can see this right here. It says edit your custom URL. Put in maybe your first name, last name, something that's going to be consistent for you. Maybe it's your first letter and your last name. I put Hakimian45 because that's where I am on a lot of different platforms. Something professional that you can leave on there for a few years. And just get rid of, if anything, get rid of all those numbers. So I'm going to unshare my screen here. Who has been doing it? Does anyone just update this? Who just learned this for the first time? Put it right, let me know. So first easy thing to do, get your LinkedIn URL super easy, because whenever a recruiter or somebody new wants to connect with you, you'll have it memorized and you can just type it in for them, which is what I do all the time. I just send them my link. I say, oh, find me on LinkedIn. I type the whole thing out and keep it super simple. That's a really easy, practical one you can do. The other one is update your cover photo to show more of what you're like in action. So for me, I'm a speaker and I also do one-on-one coaching with people. So for me, I'm going to share my screen again. You can see on my profile that I have this crazy picture of me speaking. Ooh, loading. Let's see. There's a picture of me. Go to my profile. There we go. You can see, there we go. So you can see I have this one is me coaching people. Here's me teaching. Here, is this another example? No. Yeah, there's a few different examples here. Like look at Kaylas. Kayla's one of the OrdCamp folks. She's got a really pretty picture of her speaking to a large group of people, looking super professional. You can see her having energy. It's a nice thing that you can have. Sometimes I tell people that put a picture of you in action. Are you working on a group? Maybe you've had an in-person meeting and you're leading folks. Give people a taste of what you're actually like. Showing them a photo of you is awesome. And it takes a little bit to edit. You can go into Canva, if you've ever used Canva before, and you can kind of get some graphic design tools to help you make it look fabulous. So lots of ways you can go on there. The other thing that I think a lot of you, because you're building your careers and you're growing in where you are, do a lot of volunteer work. Is there some places that you might volunteer? Put those into the chat. I would love to know where you spend your time. So in my case, I put a lot of stuff in here. So I do this group called Shy Tribe. We have an events calendar. And I put some stories about what we do for folks, what our mission statement is. I've been a hospital magician, and I tell a little bit of a story about how I got into magic. I'm a speaker and a community builder for this group called Creative Mornings. I highly recommend them. And I put that I'm a part of it. I didn't put too many details. I've done stuff with Fiverr. They're a nice online marketing platform for different tools. I do stuff in the Chicago Magic Lounge. There's a lot of stuff I'm a part of, and now I can put stories there. So if anybody wants to get to know cool stuff about me, here they are. Super duper easy. Let's see, there's, where do you all volunteer? Oh, good, I see someone already uses Canva. Oh, I see someone volunteers at a medical clinic. You do park cleanups. I volunteer at a children's hospital. Absolutely, so if you're in it right now, put in a few details about it. What are some of the wins that you've had as part of these experiences? Was there, like for me in the hospital, I always tell stories about like what it's like to be with kids who aren't at school, who don't see their friends every day. So I give people a little taste of what that day-to-day is like. Remember that a lot of these people will not actually have the chance to get to know you. They might never talk to you on the phone. They may never work with you for a year volunteering. They don't know anything. So you're giving them context for your life and your existence. So good. I love that. I see so many different volunteers. Swedish Covenant Hospital in Chicago, but can't because of COVID. Yeah, my volunteering group too, also gone. Tiffany does a mental health app. Wow, so many amazing people. Oh, I see some volunteers at the library, the animal shelter. Wow. So all of those, give me some stories. You can write details about those experiences. That's the next one. The other one that you can do and is really cool is I'm going to show screen again, is that you have a description section. So for mine, it's very much geared towards different businesses. So people that I like to work are business owners. It speaks to their specific problems. But for you, and what recruiters recommend is that you put terms in here that relate to what you want to be known for. So right now, for example, I'm going to pick on Kyla, who's also part of all of the goodness here at GirlCon. She talks about her being a CEO of a company, which is kind of cool. Some other things you can do is list the kind of skills you want people to know you for. So if you were a specific type of computer programmer and there's a specific kind of tool that you use, you can also put that in there. There's different strategies depending on what you're trying to do in here. But recruiters tend to say that what you have in here is very searchable, and the way that you potentially can be found for jobs is what words you put into your bios. So that's something to consider. And that's a nice little example for you. So I would edit that, and you have more characters here. I think she used a lot of it, which is great. You have more space here, so you can use the space here wisely. I think this is almost exactly the amount of characters you can use. But people might only look at this as a way to get to know if they want to look at your whole profile. So getting some fun stuff in there that'll capture their attention is always a good thing. I love that. That's a fun one. So updating your headline. The other thing that's really simple and easy that you can do right now is if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see skills and endorsements. These are the things that you want people to know you're good at. So maybe you've played with this and you've endorsed someone who's good at something. This guy, David Barani, I used to work for him as a teacher. So he wrote that I was very good at teaching. So he said that, and somebody else said that I was really good at social media. You can get recommendations, it's nice. The thing here is that you want to put your best 3 skills that you want people to know you for right here. So if there's a certain type of programming language, is there a certain type of industry tool that you use, put that right here so that people know that's the most important thing for you. That's a big one. Let's see, what's happening in the chat? Oh, I see lots of stuff happening. Oh my goodness, so much is going on. Cool, I love it. I hope you're all updating and adding some notes as we go here. The other fun stuff is, the other aspect of this is right now we just kind of went to some technical stuff that'll help you stand out. The next part of this is looking into how you can actually make relationships with cool people on the internet and using LinkedIn. Is that whenever you check out someone's profile that doesn't know you yet, they'll look at your profile, very good chance. To give you an example, some of the GirlCon team looked me up before the event and they said hello. And so I checked out their profile. And that is my one chance to really get to know them because I'm not on the phone with them every day. I don't talk to them a lot, but their profile is kind of filling the gaps in for me. So getting information filled out is going to be huge. So the next part of this is that you can think, I would say you don't have to worry about making content on LinkedIn, but if you wanted to be seen as a knowledgeable person on what it's like to be a girl in tech, you can put content out on that and there's a chance that people might see you. So that's something you can play with as an opportunity to like show yourself as maybe an employable person or an internship worthy person or beyond. Another way that you can make connections with people that matter is by engaging with their content. So I'm going to use one of our keynote speakers, Renee Bostic, as an example. So I'm going to go to her profile. I'm going to share again. You can see Renee's profile right here. So Renee is one of the speakers. She does a lot of big stuff at IBM. Maybe she's your ideal person that you want to get to know or follow or maybe have a relationship with. Maybe there's something magical for you to get to know her. But Renee, like many professionals and many of the speakers here, are very busy and they might not all be available to help cheer you on and inspire the next generation. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So how do you build a relationship with Renee when maybe she's not ready to be on a phone call? And I don't know if this is true for Renee, but maybe she doesn't know who you are. She might not know if she wants to talk to you. She might not know where she can help you. So how do you get her to know you without anything? So you can go to her activity, and here's cool. There's 2 cool things about this activity. you can see everywhere that she's commented on and everything that she's liked. So it looks like she likes something about blockchain with coffee. So maybe she likes coffee. She likes some IBM content. She likes this thing about the CEO and what he's doing. This is a woman becoming a doctor. Like, these are the kind of things she likes. So first off, you can get to know her better. The second thing is that Renee is also posting content on a regular basis. She posted this the other day, and I don't see a ton of comments on there. And if you're the one thoughtful person that is commenting and boosting up her content, she's going to get to know you better. If you wrote a super thoughtful reply to one of these messages and posts, she's going to probably read it, and she's going to get to know you better. And she might even look at your profile. And that's a great way to start a genuine relationship with someone, by being helpful and being positive and encouraging them. It might even work for me too if you ever wanted to talk to me, right? You leave something thoughtful on a post of mine, I might smile and think, wow, how cool is that? So that's a way that you can connect with someone like this. And this works for this whole conference. If you see a speaker that you want to get to know, this is a way that you can show them that you appreciate them and their time and give them something that's going to make them smile. So that's something to check out. The other thing too is that, I didn't even think about this today, is that you might be able to get recommendations from your teachers or places you volunteered and beyond. So one thing that you can do is you have this recommendation section. Where is it? Down here, skills and recommendations. And you can leave people thoughtful replies about how they've impacted you. So if you can see here, I've given so many out to lots of good people I've worked with. And chances are sometimes they'll give them back to you. So it's a great way to tell somebody who you look up to that they're wonderful, like that you appreciate them. So like, I don't know, these are all different people that I can appreciate. It's like a great way to say thank you. So you can use this as a way to let someone know that maybe you want a recommendation from them. Let's see, what do we have? And anything crazy going on in the chat? Everything. Oh yeah. Good to know. Let's see. We have lots of stuff happening in the chat. Ooh, I have some questions here. So we're talking about how to get a little deep. We have this question at 3:14 p.m. Sima Costello. Is there certain messages you recommend as a guideline for requesting a new connection? Yes, you want to give them something really specific that you notice about their profile. You want to acknowledge something cool about them, maybe give them a compliment. You don't want to just go in and be like, oh, can you get me an internship? Or, oh, can you open this door for me? You want to make sure that you're showing that you actually took the time to get to know them a little bit better. I had a question about hashtags in your post. Absolutely. 3 hashtags is good. Some people say you can get away with 6. I've been testing this back and forth. For sure, the first 3 hashtags are the ones that are going to be the biggest pop for you. They actually get turned into the URL of your actual link to your post. I love it. I'm going to keep going here, but I know that there's some good questions, and we have the GirlCon team is checking in on some good stuff. Let's see. Oh, the other thing that you can do that's kind of cool is you can actually send videos to people. Actually, I'm probably not. You know what? So one thing you can do is in your messages, like you can send videos to folks. I don't know if I have a good example here. Here's a conversation I had with Kyla. You can add photos and stuff here, but if you're on the cell phone app, you actually have a chance to send people messages through video or through voice. So you can actually, let's say that you become Facebook friends with, or LinkedIn friends with someone influential, or maybe a GirlCon. They're going to all be influential. Everybody on the GirlCon team is going to be something incredible over the next 10 years. You can send them a voice message or a video message to say, hey, I'm a student. Like, here's who I am. I just wanted to say thank you so much for blah, 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 blah. And you can send up to a minute. So once you're connected with someone, that's how you can stay in touch. So that's something that you can do. The other part of this, and we've been talking more technical too, is the actual story aspect of this. Is what are you telling about people that they can connect with using your profile? So diving in a little bit, my profile is a little bit more geared towards businesses, which is probably a little bit different than you. But one thing I do list is that I started my social media journey in high school, that I am a part of a hobby community that likes Big Brother and Survivor, and that community is how I learned how to do social media. And so that's part of my story and how I got into doing what I do. And I also give a little context that when I was in high school, when I was in your age, when I was 17, I raised $2,200 for my favorite charity. It was kind of like how I got into my first business. I also put in that I'm a first generation Moroccan Iranian. That was part of how one company, I think, eventually was hiring me to be a person for them. I noticed that a lot of the people on my team were also people of color. And I think that started a conversation on a really interesting foot. The hiring manager said that one of her boyfriends was Persian. And I was like, cool, okay. And she thought that was a great conversation starter. But if I never put that on my profile, we wouldn't have actually had that talk. And if somebody in this room is also first generation American or their parents are immigrants, we now have a deeper bond as well. You don't always have to share those kind of details, but you can, and you never know where it's going to go. So what you tell people about yourself, it's helpful. It's super duper helpful. So let's dive into a little bit more about presenting yourself online. I don't need to screen share. I think I'm good right now. Let's see. Great. So in life, when you're getting a new job or trying to apply for an internship, there is a chance where you can apply for a job. Maybe you'll get through to the next round. Maybe you'll get an interview with someone. Maybe they'll get to talk to you for like 30 minutes. You might have a portfolio. Maybe you have references if they decide to call your references. But a lot of times there's nothing left. There's not a lot of stuff they can go on. They're trying to make their best judgment. So they're going to look for you online. They might look at your Twitter. They might look at your TikTok. Don't look for my TikTok. It's crazy. It's wild. They might look for all of this. They might look for all of this stuff. But if you don't have a lot of good information about your past and your history online, they're going to use what they find, and that's going to be all they get. In my world, and you don't have to do this, I've got websites, I've got videos on YouTube, I've got profiles on every social media, I've got Medium blogs. You don't have to be that crazy, but if anybody wanted to figure out if I was trustable, if I was reliable, that's where they're going to look. And hopefully all of that stuff shows me as a person that can help you with whatever it is I can help you. Oh, I have a question here about, is it worth getting pro? I don't use pro. There is a job seeker thing for pro. I have managed to do a lot with my LinkedIn without having to get pro. The only thing that might happen is that if you're searching for specific kinds of companies or opportunities, they might limit you. There are some benefits to getting like recruiters to see you more, but I think a lot of people can get away without having it. Oftentimes they also do like free limited trials for you to have. How important is it to stay active on LinkedIn when you're a beginner? I would say find a balance. Try a little bit here and there. Jump in, check it on a semi-regular basis, whether it be a few weeks, every few months. Check it out. The way that staying active is really helpful is that if somebody you look up to writes something really profound, you can write a really profound response. And anybody that likes that post might actually read all the comments below and see that response as, oh, like, Ellie knows something about tech, or Vidya knows, oh, Vidya's response about the future of girls in tech is really fascinating. Who is she? Let me go look her up. So participating on comments and threads with people that matter can be huge for you. So again, with this whole concept here of getting people are going to look for you on LinkedIn, and they're trying to figure out if you're good for whatever opportunity they want. So you need to look like you're ready for it, and you need to look like you understand something about their world that maybe they don't. So I want to use an example. I'm going to use Vidya. Vidya, if you'd like, you're invited on the chat as well. I want people to see your profile and how you've evolved your stuff. Hey, I love seeing your face on. Hey, you've done a lot of really good stuff, and I'm proud, and I'm so glad.
You.
Yeah, I'm glad Vidya reached out to me and was super nice, super friendly. And a month ago, like we were talking back and forth about your LinkedIn yourself. So I want to show you one of the things that she sent me that was lovely, and it's a good starting point. Let's see. I'm going to share what she sent me. So we were talking back and forth, and this is what Vidya sent me as an example of where she was starting. If you're making something like this, this is a great place to start. She wrote that she wrote that she was part of GirlCon. She wrote that she does free STEM workshops, that she's in Model UN. She's an honor roll, which is great. She does a lot of really cool, awesome stuff. So I said, you know what? We got to go a little deeper. I want to know why you care about all these things. What gets you really jazzed about all of the stuff that you do. I want to hear a little bit more of the context, a little bit more of the story. So here's what she sent me afterwards, and I think this is what's on your LinkedIn profile. You talked about from a young age, you knew that your goal in life was to help people, wasn't sure how. You were looking into you were talking about stories about your family being in STEM, that you weren't even sure that you liked it, that you were interested in politics, debating, medicine, and all this kind of stuff, and how technology can actually help every one of those fields. And that to me is a unique angle for you. It's like, there's tech and you can work for any company. You can work for a company that sells video camera software to companies, and it's just, profitable business. Or you can use those skills to help medicine move to the future, to help politics move to the future. That is showing that you have two different unique skill sets that you're combining together that gives you a unique lens on tech. So that's something I really liked about what you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it shows that you care about what it is that you do and what you hope for. Now, Vidya, can I give you one more nugget? So the next 2 years of your profile. Absolutely. So the next level of this, and this is something that took me years to do, is to actually pull out information about your life that might be the thing that somebody wants to hire you or somebody that might want to work with you might want to know about you. So that's where we get into and I see some people mentioning resumes as well. I like that someone said a resume should only be highlighting one page. Interesting. That you can talk about if you're trying to is there a position that you're trying to go for right now in your life? Is there a type of internship that you're looking for?
Well, I recently just tried to get a job at this coding place, which I got, but
good.
But it's just to be a coding instructor.
Amazing. So you're saying just to be a coding instructor. Well, there's a lot of people who are they just do coding and just fine. That's a good thing. That's amazing. We need more of those. But what's that next level? What is that thing that a school is wondering about? What are the things, and I don't know what the school needs or what they're looking for, but what are their problems when it comes to instructors? Or is it that they're not hands-on enough? Is it that they lecture too much? That maybe that's what you talk about. It's I specialize in hands-on learning that motivates kids or something like that. Is that you're giving them the context about how you are the best at whatever it is that you do. So your profile could be guided in that way of who you best want to impress.
Okay.
Does that give you an idea? What do you think of that?
Yeah, so is it more important for us to talk about our accomplishments that we've done, all of our different things that we've done at school, or is it more important to talk about our skills, our talking skills, or person skills that we have with other people?
Kind of. I think that's a great question. I'm sure lots of people in here have the same one. Skills are important, but this is what I see all the time with adults, professionals, they're 30s, 40s. I do event planning, I do marketing, I do B2B sales, I do da-da-da. And they start listing all their stuff, which is fine. But ultimately, if I'm choosing between 5 different people and they all say that they're salespeople, that's boring to me. I don't know the differences. If this salesperson happened to know how to do something else, who's also good at marketing and who's also I'm trying to give a good example here. I never have good examples on the spot, but right now you said STEM and you said politics and you said medicine. There's something in the intersection of all of those that makes you more special. That you can say I do coding.
Mm-hmm.
I do coding. There's 100 people. There's 1,000 people that just do coding, but you do a special kind of coding. You have a coding with a lens of the world that nobody else has. And that makes you completely stand out. Is that when I read your profile, I want to only imagine that you are the only person that could ever fit that. I want to really be able to picture you. So skills are okay. What do you say? People skills? What was the other part? People skills?
Yeah.
So people skills are good, but you can illustrate that with your stories and with your experiences and how you talk. Yeah.
Sorry. I think some of the questions that people are asking is how often do I post and how do I know we want to tell them who we are, but how much is too much? How do we know when to stop?
What's too personal and what's not too personal?
Yeah, and how much information do we actually need to give them before they reach out to us?
So reaching out of nowhere sometimes happens, not always, but you want them to see that you're awesome at whatever it is you're telling them you're awesome at. So that's going to be big. When it comes to posting, I tell people this is crazy, but I post once a month on LinkedIn, but I work really hard on that one post. And I also have people that follow me, so people do see it. But I always like to comment and engage on a regular basis. It depends on what you're going for in your life right now. I think building that habit of checking it regularly and seeing what people are talking about is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit, what was the other part of that question? I want to make sure I answer it.
I think people also I know I personally struggle with what to put on a resume. How much do we highlight? I think Sneha was even asking, should it only be highlights on one page? Or how much is too much? Because I don't know where the limit is for us as students. We don't know. We don't have that many experiences also, but we try to highlight what we do have. So
resume stuff, I personally have my own qualms about resumes, and that's a whole other workshop that you probably should not go to because it is my own opinions on resumes. But LinkedIn is kind of like your way to show personality and be interesting. You do not have to follow a resume rule on this. I always find it boring when someone's like, I do bloop, 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 bloop. I want to know the stories. Tell me about an experience you had when you were teaching that was special, that was wonderful, or and tell me how you solved something, or tell me how you have a unique view on something. That's interesting, and you can do that on a LinkedIn profile. On a resume, I don't know. There's people who specialize in resumes. They might tell you something otherwise, but making yourself unique, interesting, showing that you're capable of whatever you say you're capable of is really good, and how you can help people. So that's something you can think about too. So one of the things I wanted to highlight about you and your profile that I think was kind of fun, that is really a special secret. I don't know if you actually put this on your profile, but was something.
There's a word limit on LinkedIn.
There is.
I didn't know that, so I have to edit it to fit that.
You can edit it to fit it. You can also put it in different sections of your profile. So you can put the extended version in your job description. So let's say we're going to, is this my profile? You don't have to necessarily fit everything here. It is annoying that it's a short limit. You can always put them as a job position. So you could list GirlCon here and then put a full description of it. You can list the debate club or Model UN or whatever it was. You can list it here and put a full description of it if you want, or in the volunteer section.
Got it. Sounds good.
Yes, and you can also tag different articles you've written. So if anything, you could write an article on where do I see the future of women in STEAM? You can make an article on that. There's a lot of stuff you can do there. I was on a tangent about something here. I was excited about. You can put. Oh, so one of the other things that I love about LinkedIn, it's really something that I am really unique about when it comes to profiles, is putting something a little bit personal about yourself on here. So for me, I talk about my heritage. I talk about loving Twitter, bubble tea, really light things that I'm not very scared to talk about that I can put out there. And Vidya, you told me you like to do something really cool. So you told me about the dancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do some sort of Indian dancing. If that's something you're comfortable with, putting that in a profile, you never know what conversation that'll start. I know one guy said that he used to be in sports or coaching or something, but now he's in sales for mortgages or something. And I was like, oh, but that's cool that you were into sports. If I was into sports, which I'm not so into sports, but in theory, right, I can now talk to him about sports. The fact that we mentioned bubble tea is that it's fun. The other day I was talking to Ellie, who's the other another person here, and we were talking about Survivor for ever. Who knew we have this bond? Is that now that her and I understand each other, that we have a commonality, there's some deeper connections there. And you never know when an interviewer is looking for something to start the talk with. Maybe they went to the same school as you. I know every time I see a Stevenson person on a GirlCon team, I'm like, yes, Stevenson, go Patriots! I already feel a bond to those folks. So putting something that you feel comfortable with in your profile is kind of helpful as a way for people to break the ice. And it's something that I uniquely advocate for. Not everybody says this, but I think it always helps because every business career thing sometimes often starts with a personal connection. So how can you make that easy for them? Yes. Are there any follow-up questions to that? Before I kind of summarize where we should go with our bio.
I don't think I have any personal questions. But...
Cool. Let me jump in on this. Thank you so much. I love that I got to put you in the hot seat.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate all the advice. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm so glad. I want to show one more profile here. I'm going to share another one. So I showed you Kyla a little bit earlier. She's also on the GirlCon team. Let's see. Can we share screen? Awesome. So Kyla, again, we have a beautiful photo here. She's got a really full photo here of her smiling. It's very clear. It looks professional. Great. She has a little bio about herself. She does have some of her bio on here. She talks about her business. or what she's doing. She spoke at TEDx, which is really cool. She's put a lot of interesting details about herself. She's even tagged videos of herself speaking, which I think is super cool. Now, not everybody is doing all this stuff. You don't have to be at this place, but little things that you can change can get you closer. She also put in where she's been a speaker, podcast appearances. If this is the kind of, like, if you want to be a personal brand, this is great that she makes it very easy for people to find out how cool she is. And if you're from any of these organizations, I don't know what Hobby ILCS Leadership Summit is, but if I was an alumni, I would be, oh my gosh, she spoke there? Like, that means something to different people. I see Purdue. I went to Indiana. That's not the hottest thing going on there. Some rivalry there. And we have GirlCon. So look, there's complete results. Raised $11,000 for student engagement. That's an awesome thing to write. That's like, here's what I did. I invited, here's all these keynote speakers to come be keynotes. Like, that is an achievement that you got, is that if I'm a company and I want to have conferences, you've now made it very clear that you know how to get speakers. That's a really great skill. If I'm looking to hire someone who can do that stuff, like, I know already that she does it. Google, that's cool. If there's any stories about what she does on Google, that's really cool. Telling stories about what these internships were like, what you did, what you achieved, any great moments, always a great thing. And you can also tag different items here as well. So yeah, you can tag different items. These are links to something that she did at Facebook. That's something you can do if you have photos of yourself at these places. Also a really nice thing you can do. I talked about her education. Here, she mentored girls. You can find out more about it. Here's an article about how she mentored girls. That's so cool. Student ambassador, like all of these really cool organizations. So these are some great examples. So for you to get a taste. So I'm going to talk you through some of the last items about what you should think about in your profiles. But before that, I see there's a question here about endorsements. Endorsements might be a little bit more important than when you're looking for a job than anything. I have mixed reviews on them. I think they can help, but I don't know if that's my favorite go-to strategy in terms of if you get endorsements, you're going to get a job. I wouldn't say they're everything, but they don't hurt. And just saying that you do these items, it usually invites people on your friends list to make a good feedback. Let's see. We got some really good questions in here. Cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what you should think about in your bio, just as we're wrapping up on the bio section before we can jump into your questions. So if you have deeper questions, I want to have a conversation with you. So the biggest things to think about with your bio is tell me about a problem in the world that you most want to impact. For a lot of you, it might be getting women more involved in STEM or STEAM. Maybe that's something really big. Maybe there's something that you lived growing up that you want to make better in the world. Tell me about a unique combinations of skills that you have that could be an asset to a group, school, or position that you want. What are those skills? And give me a story about those skills. Add a personal blurb to your profile. So Vidya has the Indian dancing. I put my bubble tea thing in there. Something that you feel comfortable with. Maybe you like to cook. Maybe you're into sports. Maybe you play real life Survivor in the woods for 8 days and try not to get voted out. That might just be me because that's my weird hobby. But put something in there that people can start a conversation with. That's something big. So I know that there's a lot of stuff we can talk about with LinkedIn. I work with a lot of folks on how to make their profiles shine. I have tons of profiles I can show you, tons of tips. I can talk about posting. I can talk about a lot more. So I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. If you want to know anything about me, my life as well, I'm an open book. If the mods have questions or anything you want to pull in, I am here for you. So mods, you're invited to jump in if you want to come on cam. No pressure. Is it good to regularly clean out your LinkedIn connections? Ooh, that's a juicy one. So there's a secret here that if you have good connections, those are the people that are going to see your content, and those are the people that are going to see that you commented on stuff. So you want to have good people there. If there's someone random that isn't going to get you anything, any door opens or anything, you probably don't want to be connected with them. Some people even take it to the next level that they only put people in their friends list of people that can open opportunities for them. So if I'm only trying to serve small businesses, I will only have people that fit my target demographic as friends on LinkedIn. You don't need to necessarily do that, but you don't want to add random people that aren't going to do anything for you. You want people that are going to open up some doors. For sure, for sure. Do you recommend reaching out to recruiters at companies you're interested in on LinkedIn? Absolutely. They have to search and search and search to try to find people that are qualified to do the jobs that that they are looking for. So if you make it easy for them, great. And so how you make it easy for them is you tell them that you are super duper good at whatever thing you want to work on. So if that is coding a specific kind of language or beyond, tell them that, because they're looking for profiles and they want to know that you're qualified. The other thing is too, so a lot of recruiters talk about reaching out to people at companies that you want to work for. So other people who have jobs there. A lot of times companies, the employees get a benefit for suggesting someone that eventually can get hired at a job. So they might get like $5,000 if you end up getting a job at their company. So they might be open to getting to know you. But at the same time, you want to be delicate. You don't want to just say, hey, I want this thing from you. Give them something of value. Say, I really appreciate your profile, and I saw you were also involved in this program, or that you also went to Deerfield High School, or whatever it is. Make sure that you understand that their time is valuable and that you acknowledge that. And say, hey, like, I know your time is valuable. Is this something that you're open to talking to me about? Is there something I can do for you? Like, always in a mindset of giving. Hey!
Hi, thank you. Shaily.
We have a couple
Absolutely.
questions that we saw in the chat. One of them is, would you recommend that the about section be in the first person or the third person?
Oof. First person. Third person's very resume, I think, from what I understand. And I am not a resume expert, but I write it from my first. It's like almost like a little letter to anybody that views me. The way that, like, again, and this is more me because I'm in business, is that I write my profile for the eye of the people that I want to serve. To give you an example, like the description I wrote for this workshop, it was all about helping you. It was all about, hey, do you want to get internships? Do you want to get opportunities? Do you want to do this? You need your profile to look good. And it was speaking to the language of what I thought you would be interested in hearing. So that's like down the line. This took me years to think like that. But ultimately, everyone's trying to figure out what's in it for me. So the more you make that easy for the person you're trying to reach, the better.
Thank you so much. So we have another question about, oh, sorry, Ollie, you can go ahead.
Okay, well.
Yeah, so another question.
Oh, keep going.
I love it.
One of the questions that we saw that we thought was really important is, what is the proper etiquette for reaching out to learn about a company or position? How do you reach out? Is it too much to reach out to the person that you might have reached out to via email? All about that.
It's delicate, and there's lots of recruiters out there that might have different opinions. I'm more coming from like a marketing standpoint. You don't want to like harass somebody and like reach them out at too many places. Sometimes, well, recruiters will look at their LinkedIn. Other people at companies, not everyone's active, so not everyone will see a message that goes out. But some things that I have done is like, I'll reach out to like whoever runs a Twitter account and I'll say, hey, like, you know, I would love to learn more about this position. Can you tell me more? Or is there a good person that I can reach out to? Sometimes a social media manager will be able to point you to the right direction. That's a way to do it. A lot of times I would say this, I would love to learn more. Would it be okay to chat? Like, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff here. And I work for myself. I don't work with a lot of recruiters, so I don't want to say something that isn't totally accurate. Actually, someone that I can recommend you to, you know who I should send you to? I'm going to share screen again. I'm going to show you Adam Karpiak. He's a really nice, this guy is like an amazing human being. And he's someone that I actually got to know better because I reached out to him on Twitter, where he's less popular. He is a really good recruiter guy, and he's always putting out tips that not only help job seekers, but also recruiters. So he just has a wealth of knowledge and resources, and people can hire him to like help with their resumes and beyond. So I would say if you want to follow him on LinkedIn, he's got tons and tons of resume tips. And there's another lady if you're on TikTok, that also has lots of resume tips. Her name is JT O'Donnell, and she's got 346,000 people following her. She's with workitdaily.com. So I don't know if I can share that screen, but she's also really cool. So there's a few good people that can give you really specific insights on resume tips. So it's delicate. Just remember, too, that people's times are valuable, and you want to make it as valuable to whoever you're trying to serve.
So we have some questions about SSI scores and how you can raise them. So can you talk a little bit about that?
I am still trying to figure out all of this SSI shenanigans. One of the clients I work with, we again coach a lot of ladies on how to use LinkedIn, and so we were trying to figure out the value of all this. Part of us, we think that like it's some sort of ploy to get us to buy LinkedIn. But some of these stuff you can take actionable steps. So if you want, I'm showing you now what my SSI looks like. I don't think this is a big deal. I'm not so worried about it. But you can see my SSI. I have a screen share set up here, where it's build relationships is like I got 25 out of 25. So I must be responsive to everybody here. Strengthening your network by establishing trust with decision makers. I talk to a lot of people. I send personal messages. Every time somebody likes my posts, I try to send them a, hey, thanks so much for checking out my post. Because it now starts a conversation that can go who knows where. One of them actually led to a new client last year because I reached out and said, hey, thanks for looking at my post. Insights. So there's some stuff with data. I don't know. I don't play with that too much. Finding the right people. A lot of salespeople will use the search tools to try to find people. So I think that would go up with that. Establishing a personal brand. Oh yeah, filling out your profile completely is so simple. Usually LinkedIn will actually walk you through what you should fill out. So just making sure everything's filled in will move this one higher. What else did they say? Again, I'm not so worried about this. I still don't totally get what's happening. I mean, it's cool to know that I'm in the top 7%, top 1% in my industry, but have conversations with people. Think about it as a real world conversation with real humans. Is that the same way that you would meet like another student in school or another teacher in school or another speaker at an in-person event, is that you're using this as a tool to get people to get to know you better and build trust the same way it takes to build trust with a new friend, with a new classmate, and beyond. So I would worry more about that. I'm not sure what you've been hearing about SSI. I'm not so worried about it, but it's interesting.
Just to follow up with that,
Please.
Does the number of connections you have on LinkedIn matter? Like, do people look at that and consider that?
Yeah, a little bit. So they usually say you want 500 or more. When I was starting on my LinkedIn, the first 2 years I was on LinkedIn, I did not have 500. I was like, shoot, I also heard the message, I need to get on LinkedIn. I need to do this thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, shoot, I don't have enough connections. I don't really have a good profile. But like little by little, I started adding stuff and adding people, and then I had 500. But I was very strategic to not try to just add people willy-nilly just for the sake of it. One person I saw posted that they can add people from like your university network, which is kind of okay. But I would think it's okay at your age to just add people strategically. If you were a classmate with someone, sure. Maybe I would say after you graduate, maybe a teacher. If there's someone who ran a volunteer organization with you, maybe connect with them. There's some stuff there as well. So, I lost my train of thought on this. Yeah, so 500 usually gives you a little bit of the boost in the algorithms too. I know when I look at someone's profile and I only see 250, I'm like, oh, they're not very active or they don't participate. But I would say building your network more strategically with people that might matter to you, I think is okay to take it slow. But there might be different answers from different people.
Yeah, definitely. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
And then we've got a question from Jem. She says, what's your opinion on humble bragging? And does it sound slightly pretentious?
Okay, yes, it is. I think what people think content should be on LinkedIn is like a status of it. Look, I did this. I spoke there. Like my version of me talking about this could be like, I'm speaking at GirlCon, check it out, which is what everyone does. But that's not really helpful. That's sometimes helpful. Look, people want to know what I'm doing, and sometimes a little bit secretive sometimes of what I'm up to, but you should give people something more valuable to that. Like, so the post that I was thinking about putting out was saying like, hey, like I am scared to sometimes put out that I'm speaking at different events, and I get nervous for X, Y, and Z reason. And even for me to post this today, I was nervous about. So, but like, I'm going to share that I'm at these 3 events, and I hope you can support me. I hope this is cool. And just being a real person and vulnerable about it. Or like one guy I worked with, he was a performer. He does magic at trade shows. And I told him he was just posting videos of him talking at a trade show. And I was like, that's not going to help the people that you want to serve. Why don't you tell other trade shows that might want to hire you tips about what they should do in terms of hiring entertainment at trade shows? Because now it's not just, hey, look at me, I'm at a trade show, look at my client. It's, here's how I'm doing this show for these people. Let me tell you what you need to do so that your show is awesome like these people. And so he gives people tips in the description of the post that's valuable to them. One of the ones I did a few weeks ago was I was part of this thing where a bunch of businesses promoted each other as part of one big like marketing thing. And what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought again. We were all promoting each other, and instead of just saying, hey, like sign up for this thing that I'm a part of, everyone follow these people, I gave people insight about how they can promote themselves on social media using the other resources like other businesses. So I didn't frame it as, hey, look at me. It's like, hey, look at me, but like here's what I learned from this that's valuable to you. Here's where my lived experience has specific insights about this thing, and here's how it's beneficial to you, and here you can check it out if you want. Keep in mind who you're trying to serve. It's not about, hey, look at me. It's about how you can help the other person and what can you pull out of that experience that might be valuable for someone else.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, don't do private mode. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know people thought about that.
So
You
we
want
were
people to know
having
who
a lot
you
of
are.
questions about the private mode and profile, things like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why people do private anymore. Like you should make your profile like available, because if you don't know if I'm like, if you're applying for something, I might look you up, and if I can't find you,
I
that's
think
also
there's
hard.
also more about like, because if you go in the settings, you can mark whether or not you want other people to see if you viewed their profile. So is that like a helpful feature to have on as well?
The viewed their profile feature?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't. If you don't have a paid membership, it usually always tells people like that you saw their profile.
Mm-hmm.
So usually if you have
There's
a
a way to
paid,
turn it off, though.
there's a way to turn it off. Am I gonna get this LinkedIn tip here? What? Is this a new thing? What? If that's a real thing, I want to
I've always
know.
wondered about too, because then you can like turn it off so other people can't see you viewing their profile, but then you can't see other people viewing yours either. So.
Oh, that's the trade-off. Look, like whenever someone looks at my profile, I always look at theirs, and a lot of times their profiles are boring, and I don't care. Or like they send me a message like, "I want to connect for more business opportunities." It's boring, it's generic, and I'm like, I have no benefit from you. I don't know what you can do for me. You didn't send a personal message. I feel like you had a robot come ask me questions, whatever. But like, if I look at someone's profile, like Renee Bostic is probably wondering why her profile was viewed by me like 7 times today. Maybe she's gonna want to connect with me. I don't know. She seems super cool, so I don't know. Maybe she'll want to hang out. I don't know. So I think there's a benefit to that. I'm not so scared about it. It's not like it's like a boyfriend and I'm like stalking them on Instagram. Like it's different. So
Okay.
yeah. Let's see.
So another question we have is essentially like, how do you combine, if there are 2 things that you do, how do you combine them into one LinkedIn, or should you be creating 2 different LinkedIns?
I'm not a big fan of the 2 different LinkedIns. I don't know a lot of people who did it. I thought about it for like 5 minutes and I was like, no. So with that, you can actually make them 2 different jobs. So if there's one you're more focused on, maybe mention that in your bio, but you can make them as 2 separate jobs. Like for me, like I have social media like coaching, and I have social media speaker, and very, very occasionally I like to do a little bit of math tutoring. So I have a little blurb about math tutoring. It's like totally separate. It's at the bottom. It's not my biggest focus, but it's there. My dad's actually a jeweler, so sometimes I put his business on there just casually at the bottom. I'm like, who knows? Most people don't know jewelers, but maybe they'll call me and we can give my dad some business. I don't know. So you can always make it as a job description. There's no rule that says your job descriptions have to be like, I work at a company. You can say like, here's what I did for this group. Also, I love UX designers. UX designers made my profile, my website like fabulous. So mad props for those skills. We need more of those. Lots of jobs in that field. Maybe like 1 or 2 more questions. We can see what we can get in before I do a close.
Yeah, we can ask. Christina asks, what is something you shouldn't put on your LinkedIn, and how can you make your profile differ from your resume?
Your profile can have personality. That's more allowed, I think, on a profile than you can on a resume, is that you can put pizzazz in it. You can tell other stories that are different. I like that the question is still up here. Okay, what should you not put on a LinkedIn? What should you not put on a LinkedIn? Some people don't put like really old jobs that are irrelevant. I still wrote on mine that I worked at Jamba Juice, and surprise, surprise, someone that I was networking with happened to also work at Jamba Juice, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have a bond, and all of the Jamba Juice people are crazy like me. So like that was kind of cool. But sometimes people say don't put like old jobs on there. I would say if there's something that is kind of interesting and not so important, just lower it on your profile. You can reorder stuff and prioritize stuff, but I don't know what I wouldn't put on there. I mean, don't talk about things that are like awful terrible. I don't know. Just you want to be a positive, good person. Just put good things on there that could be helpful to people that want to learn about you.
Got it.
Maybe last question here.
Yes,
Yeah,
our
so
last
this is
question.
probably one of the
Go ahead,
last ones.
Saya.
And we have a lot of questions about this. Like a lot of people are upvoting it. What can you put on your profile if you don't have any work experiences, or if you don't have that many experiences in general? Like how can you snazz up your profile?
Talk about experiences you have had. Volunteer experiences count. You don't have to have a full-time job to write about on your LinkedIn. I will tell you this. I have never worked a 9-to-5 job, like at an office where like you go to work at 9 a.m. and come back at 5. I work at home. I work for myself. It's not the most recommended thing. It is absolutely crazy running your own business. It is insane, and I don't recommend it to a lot of people. But I've never done that, so I skipped that. But oh, where did the question go again? So yes, okay, so I put in different work contracts I had or different volunteer experiences I had. My first social media account that I managed was for a charity group, and so like I put some stories about what I did for them, and that counts. Volunteering in social media, like there's a lot of opportunity there if you feel like it's a lot of work. And just watch what GirlCon has done. I'm just blown away. So that's something you can do. If there's something you did for a family member, if you helped out at an event, if you volunteered at a coding camp, like those are all positions that are valuable. As long as you can show like what you did there and what you got out of it and what you can help people on, that's sometimes worth so much. And honestly, like, and not every recruiter is going to agree with this. Like sometimes they don't care that you work 9 to 5. They don't care if it was a part-time job. They want to know that you're good at something. That is what their mission is when they look at you. They want to know that you are awesome at whatever thing you said. So show them that through whatever experiences you had. Now, I am on the internet. You can find me all over the place. I know there's probably still a lot more questions to go, but I want to do a little bit of a closing to kind of wrap this up. Is that cool, GirlCon?
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely.
Awesome. And I'm cheering all of this initiative on. So with that, what do I want to tell you all? So if you want more LinkedIn insights, you know where to find me. I'm on LinkedIn. All my social media accounts are actually at this link below. I'm all over the webs. So if you have anything you want to shout out, you want to comment on any of my posts, I will always appreciate it. And if you have questions, I post on LinkedIn all the time. You can always comment with a question. I'll try my best to help. But some of you I know are probably sitting here and are thinking, whoa, this is a lot. I don't know how I can do it all. And I want to say that's totally okay. You do not have to do all of this. You do not have to be like Kyla or Vidya. I know they've gone above and beyond. I know a lot of GirlCon team is going to be on. You do not have to do all that. I don't want you to feel like this is a big chore for you. It's something that you can do little by little, one step at a time. I was suggesting earlier that when I was in college, I checked my LinkedIn every like 2 or 3 months. And then I checked it every 2 months. And every time I looked, I added one more new thing. And then I checked it every month. And I added maybe a description, or I added a position or a volunteer thing. Then I checked it every month. And then I checked it every 2 weeks. And then I started checking it every day. And now I check it every hour like a crazy person. But you don't have to do that. But little by little, add one little thing every time you check your LinkedIn profile. Eventually, you'll have something great. And the fact that you're even thinking about it now as a teenager is just going to be amazing. Because by the time you're actually going to like look for jobs or whatever, you're going to have stacked the deck with experiences. And that's what I want you to think about. I don't want you to feel totally stuck. The other thing is I want to hold you accountable to whatever your goals are that you've set out today. So I have a nice thing that you can sign up for at shai.ly. So if you go to shai.ly, you'll see Get Accountability on Improving Your LinkedIn. If you go there today, and only today, you can put in your name, your email, and then 2 or 3 things that you took from the session that you want to be reminded of. And over the next month, you will get automatic emails from me that will remind you of whatever you wrote was your goal today. So write those in there. You'll get automatic emails reminding you of that. And I want to see how well you do. It's a way for you to hold yourself accountable. It's a way for me to stay in touch with you as well. So shai.ly, and you'll see a link to this that looks like Get Extra Accountability for Improving Your LinkedIn. And it's only available for today. And also I'll send you a link of this recording as well. The other stuff I want to do is I want to leave you with this. I know we're almost at time here. Something that like just me as a woman to all of you as you're navigating your lives and your careers is I want you to keep exploring the world. I know here you're exploring tech and you're exploring so many different combinations of how tech can be in the world. I don't want you to stop exploring. Whether it be tech or something else, look through a variety of jobs, join a variety of clubs. If you're going to college, join a lot of different clubs. If you're trying different jobs, volunteer at different places. A little bit of everything goes such a long way. I know I did a lot of fundraising at college. I joined clubs. I hosted events. I even hosted a comedy festival. I was on student government. I get to sample a lot of different things that could eventually turn into my life. I look at the adults in my world today, and a lot of them don't love where they got started in, and they got stuck in their career. So the more you experiment, the more mix of unique superpowers that you can discover in yourself, the more you can find that unique way that you're going to change the world. Thank you, Team GirlCon, for having me, and I'm so excited for your futures.
Thank you so much, Shaily.
For coming. We really appreciate it, and all of our LinkedIns are going to be super revamped after the session.
Great.
Yeah.
Poke me. I want to see how you do. Poke me.
Yeah. So before we go, we just want to say we dropped GirlCon Chicago has dropped the link for the feedback form in the chat, so make sure you guys fill that out for 100 points for today's session. And yeah, we're really glad to have you, and make sure you fill out that form, and we'll see you in the next breakout sessions. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank
Shaily.
you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.